To welcome you to the March 26, 2024 meeting of the City Plan Commission. Before we begin, I will outline the procedure that we will follow for our public hearing. As each agenda item is called, the applicant or his or her representatives and persons for the request will be allowed to speak. Then persons against the request will be allowed to speak. If there is opposition to the request, the applicant will be allowed to make a short rebuttal. All persons wishing to speak need to come to the microphone at the front of the room. Please state your name and address for the record. All statements should be relevant to the agenda item and will be limited to 3 minutes. If there are several people in favor or opposed to a request, we encourage you to allow 1 or 2 people to act as spokesperson for the group. If you like, a spokesperson for the group may request that the group stand and be recognized. While public discourse is very important to the Commission, we have to maintain order in the meeting so that all people may be heard and city business may be conducted. If so directed by me, the Sergeant at Arms shall remove from this meeting any person while addressing the Commission or while attending the Commission meeting that makes personal, impertinent, or slanderous remarks, becomes boisterous, or makes unauthorized remarks from the audience, stomping of feet, whistles, yells, or similar demonstrations. The Commission members have reviewed each of these items in a previous work session. The recommendations we make tonight to the City Council will be based on the work session and the information provided by City staff, as well as any additional information presented tonight. After completing the hearing on each item, the Commission will consider action on the item. The action taken tonight on all items, excluding plats, will just be in the form of a recommendation to the City Council. City Council will also conduct a hearing on all items excluding plats, which will be held on Tuesday, April 16th, 2024 in the Bosque Theater of the Waco Convention Center at 100 Washington Avenue. The record and the recommendation of the Plan Commission and new testimony will be considered by the Council at that time. The first item on our agenda is approval of the minutes of our February 27th, 2024 work session and business meetings. Are there any changes or additions? Seeing none, they will stand approved as written. First item we will hear tonight is on subdivisions. City staff, what is your recommendation?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chair, members of the Commission. This is a public hearing on the final plat of the original town of Axtell, lots 26 and 27, block 11 in the ETJ, and for a variance request of the requirements for lot served by an on-site sewage facility to be a minimum of 1 acre in size per the Waco subdivision ordinance for the proposed subdivision plat. Staff recommends that the subdivision variance request be approved in accordance with section 7.1001 of the subdivision ordinance based on the following findings and condition: that extraordinary hardship or significant practical difficulty may result from strict compliance with the subdivision ordinance regulation, and the effect of the variance will not be detrimental to public safety, health, welfare, or injurious to the property. And the conditions upon which the request for the variance is based upon are unique to the subdivision under consideration, are not generally applicable to other properties. We do have one condition, is that the design for the on-site sewage facilities for each lot must meet all requirements of the Waco-McLennan County Public Health District before an on-site sewage facility permit can be issued for the lots. And then staff does recommend approval of the plat without any conditions, assuming that the variance is approved.
Is the applicant or his or her representative here to speak on behalf of this item?
Yes, I am.
If you can just come to the podium and state your name and address.
Good evening. My name is Pastor Chris Galbraith of Axtell Baptist Church, and we're asking for this to be approved for reasons of we're just a small church. We run a small budget, and we had about 10 years ago, we had someone come in and tell us how much it would cost to repair everything and get it back up to usable, and it was over $50,000. And our insurance company wants to insure the whole lots as a one, and so they said they cannot do it as now. We still have the insurance, but if this doesn't get approved, they're going to drop us, and so we need to be able to have insurance so we can meet there and continue to do so. And so we would love for you to do this, and we appreciate your time.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to speak on behalf of this item? Is there anyone that would like to speak in opposition of this item? Hearing none, I will now close the public hearing and entertain a motion.
I move that we recommend approval of the subdivision variance with conditions based on staff findings.
Second.
We have a motion by Mr. Smith and a second by Mr. Lane. Please poll the commission.
Yay. Yes.
Ingram? Yes.
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 Yes. Smith?
Yes.
We will now entertain a motion on the plat.
I move that we approve the plat based on staff findings.
Motion by Mr. Smith and a second by Mr. Lane. Please poll the commission.
Yay.
Embry? Yes. Ingram? Yes. Lane?
Yes.
Lozano?
Yes.
Ramos? Yes. Smith?
Yes.
Cole?
Yes.
For the amended preliminary plat of the Far Paddock addition, what is city staff's recommendation?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chair, members of the commission, this is a public hearing on the amended preliminary plat of the Far Paddock addition in the ETJ, and then a variance request to the requirement for the improvement to the ingress egress easements per section 5.205H of the Waco subdivision ordinance for the plat. Staff does recommend approval of the subdivision variance request be approved in accordance with section 7.1001 of the subdivision ordinance based on the following findings and conditions. That extraordinary hardship or significant practical difficulties may result from strict compliance with the subdivision ordinance, and the effect of the variance will not be detrimental to public safety, health, welfare of interest to the other properties. And the conditions upon which the request for the variance is based upon are unique to the subdivision ordinance consideration and not generally applicable to other properties. We do have two conditions: further subdivision of the lots that increases the number of lots will require the construction of the ingress egress easement, and then maintenance of the streets will not be the responsibility of the city of Waco or McLennan County. And then planning does recommend approval of the plat based on conditions. And be happy to answer any questions.
Is the applicant or his or her representative here to speak on behalf of this item? Is anyone here to speak in opposition to this item? Hearing none, we will close the public hearing and entertain a motion on the variance.
I move that we recommend approval with conditions of the subdivision variance based on staff findings.
Second.
We have a motion by Mr. Smith and a second by Mr. Embry. Please poll the commission.
Yay.
Yes. Yes. Lane?
Yes.
Lozano?
Yes.
Ramos? Yes. Smith?
Yes.
Yes. We'll now entertain a motion on the plat.
I move that we recommend approval of the plat based on staff findings.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Smith, a second by Mr. Embry. Please poll the commission.
Allen?
Yay.
Yes. 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 Lozano?
Yes.
Ramos? Yes. Smith?
Yes.
Cole?
For item H-24-1, what is city staff's recommendation?
Okay. Mr. Chair, members of the commission, this is a public hearing on a request by Sterling Thompson of Sterling and Cap Architects LLC on behalf of Rivergate Properties LLC, Series Kestner, property described as lots 8 through 15, Block 26, Railroad Edition, known as 501 Elm Avenue. The request is to designate the Kestner's Building, also known as the Cornish Building, as a City of Waco local historic landmark in accordance with Chapter 28, Article 10 of the City of Waco Code of Ordinances. Planning Services mailed out 15 notices and had 0 comments returned. Planning Services and the Historic Landmark Preservation Commission, at a public hearing held on March 12, 2024, recommends approval of this request for historic landmark designation of the Kestner's Building, 501 Elm Avenue, on the following findings. Number 1, the site is designated as a high priority in the Waco Survey of Historic Resources, 1987, adopted by the Waco City Council. 2, it possesses significance with respect to history and culture, with Demonstral Cultural Association as a department store serving Waco residents for over 90 years. 3, the two-story brick building embodies the distinctive characteristics of commercial Victorian style. And 4, it represents a distinctive and familiar visual feature of the city of Waco.
Thank you. Is anyone here to speak on behalf of this item? Please just state your name and address.
Randy Robinson, Robinson Construction. Our address is 1115 East McGregor Drive, McGregor 76657. We are the general contractors for this job. Sterling could not be here this evening, but just wanted to speak and tell you that we would love to have this designation. We think it'll be a great asset to the city and an asset for East Waco, especially Elm Avenue area.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to speak on behalf of this item? Is there anyone that would like to speak in opposition to this item? Hearing none, we'll close the public hearing and entertain a motion.
I motion to recommend approval.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Ramos, a second by Mr. Embry. Please poll the commission.
Embry? Ingram? Lane? Lozano?
Yes.
Ramos?
Yes.
Smith?
Yes.
Cole?
For item Z-24-8, what is the city staff recommendation?
Mr. Chair, members of the commission, this is a public hearing on a request from Mary Haganey for the property described as Lot 1A, Block 00, West Addition, known as 2228 Sanger Avenue, for a short-term rental type 1 in an R1B zoning district. This public hearing was continued from the February 27th, 2024 Plan Commission meeting. Planning Services mailed out 40 notices and had 0 returned. Planning Services recommends approval of the special permit subject to the special provisions and conditions and based on the following findings. 1, that the proposed use is consistent with the comprehensive plan. 2, that the proposed use is compatible with the appropriate and orderly development of the area in which it is located. 3, that the proposed use would not be more objectionable to neighboring properties because of traffic congestion, noise, fumes, vibration, or any other characteristics than any use permitted in the zoning district without the grant of a special exception. Number 4, that the available community facilities and services, including the road system providing access to the proposed use, are adequate for the proposed use. These findings are required for the granting of a special permit as per Section 28-122 of the City of Waco zoning ordinance. Staff recommends the provisions and conditions noted under the special provisions and conditions short-term rental type 1.
Thank you. Is the applicant or is there a representative here to speak on behalf of this item? Is anyone present to speak in opposition to this item? Hearing none, we'll close the public hearing and entertain a motion.
Move to recommend approval based on staff findings.
Second.
A motion by Mr. Embry, a second by Mr. Smith. Please poll the commission.
Allen?
Yay.
Embry? Yes. Ingram?
Yes.
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 Cole?
Yes. For items Z-24-9, what is city staff's recommendation?
Mr. Chair, members of the commission, this is a public hearing on a request from Roy Parton for the property described as lots 1 through 3, Block 18, Provident Addition, known as 2200 Colcord Avenue, for a short-term rental type 1 in an R1B zoning district. Planning Services mailed out 27 notices and had 0 returned. Planning Services recommends approval of the special permit subject to the special provisions and conditions and based on the following findings. 1, that the proposed use is consistent with the comprehensive plan. 2, that the proposed use is compatible with the appropriate and orderly development of the area in which it is located. 3, that the proposed use would not be more objectionable to neighboring properties because of traffic congestion, noise, fumes, vibrations, or any other characteristics than any use permitted in the zoning district without the grant of a special exception. 4, that the available community facilities and services, including the road system providing access to the proposed use, are adequate for the proposed use. These findings are required for the granting of a special permit as per Section 28-122 of the City of Waco zoning ordinance. Staff recommends provisions and conditions noted under special provisions and conditions short-term rental type 1.
Thank you. Is the applicant or his or her representative here to speak on behalf of this item?
Harton, 2200 Colcord Avenue. One of the first things I realized when I moved to Waco was the amazing number of historic homes that exist within the city. And I think it's something that we can take advantage of here as far as tourism and things like that. And what better way for someone to be able to stay in a historic home? We live right there where all the large, in Sanger Heights, where those big historic homes are. And in ours, Zeb Morrow in the 60s took from the Cameron House, the Alderman House, all these, the McLennan County Courthouse, all these old things that were being torn apart, took all these historic things and built them into the homes. So our house is like a museum of Waco history also. And we just think it'd be a really cool way to promote the history of Waco. It's a gem we're sitting on that we think should be used.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to speak on behalf of this item? Anyone that would like to speak in opposition? Hearing none, we'll close the public hearing and entertain a motion.
I motion to recommend approval.
I'll second it.
We have a motion by Mr. Ramos and a second by Mr. Embry. Please poll the commission.
Allen?
Yes. Yes.
Yes. Lozano?
Yes.
Ramos?
Yes.
Smith?
Yes.
Yes. For item Z-24-10, what is city staff's recommendation?
Mr. Chair, members of the commission, this is a public hearing on a request from Brett Moore, Magnolia Business Ventures, on behalf of D&E Castle Holdings, LLC, for the property described as Lot 2, Block A, Cottonland Castle Edition, known as 3300 Austin Avenue, for a house museum in an R1B zoning district for a period of 6 months. Planning Services mailed out 20 notices and has 0 returned. Planning Services recommends approval of the special permit subject to the special provisions and conditions and based on the following findings. 1, that the proposed use is consistent with the comprehensive plan. 2, that the proposed use is compatible with the appropriate and orderly development of the area in which it is located. 3, that the proposed use would not be more objectionable to neighboring properties because of traffic congestion, noise, fumes, vibrations, or any other characteristics than any use permitted in the zoning district without the grant of a special exception. 4, that available community facilities and services, including the road system providing access to the proposed use, are adequate for the proposed use. These findings are required for the granting of a special permit as per section 28-122 of the City of Waco zoning ordinance. Staff recommends the provisions and conditions noted under special provisions and conditions house museum.
Thank you. Is the representative for this application here to speak on behalf?
Brett Moore, good afternoon. Waco, Texas, and just here to say that we've had, through this first 6 months of being a house museum, we've had over 4,000 visitors come to Waco and be able to enjoy a tour of the castle and to be able to understand the history of Waco and how it ties together to many of the other things we're trying to achieve downtown. So we just appreciate the opportunity to continue that on for another 6 months.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Is there anyone present that would like to speak in opposition to this item? Hearing none, we will close the public hearing and entertain a motion.
Move that we recommend approval based on staff findings.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Smith, second by Mr. Lane. Please poll the commission.
Allen?
Yay.
Embry?
Yes.
Ingram? Yes. Lane? Yes. Lozano?
Yes.
Ramos?
Yes.
Smith?
Yes.
Cole?
Yes. For item Z-24-12, what is city staff's recommendation?
Mr. Chair, members of the commission, this is a public hearing on a request from Joshua Barrett on behalf of Turner Brothers Real Estate to rezone from R1B and O3 zoning to O3 zoning, 2.5997 acres, being all of that tract described as Gin Lanari tract lots 5A, 5B, 6A, and 7A, Block F, known as 3420 West Waco Drive. Planning Services mailed out 39 notices and has 0 returned. Planning Services recommends approval of the request to change the zoning from R1B and O3 zoning to O3 zoning based on the following findings. 1, the proposed zoning is in keeping with the land use component of the comprehensive plan. The public infrastructure is adequate to provide for uses allowed in the O3 zoning district. The property meets all the area and width requirements for the O3 zoning district. The property is located along an arterial street, Waco Drive. And 5, the proposed O3 zoning brings the existing building on the property into conformance with the zoning ordinance and provides for compatible mixed-use development with the adjacent residential neighborhood by limiting the types of commercial uses permitted and hours of operation.
Thank you. Is the applicant or his or her representative here to speak on behalf of this item?
Good evening, Josh Barrett, Turner Brothers Real Estate, Spring Lake, Waco, Texas. So yeah, we're looking to buy this property, and essentially it's been office since it was built in 1955. Our plan is to update it and continue to use as office, which would fit the O3 zoning. Nothing fancy, just bring in new office space to the market and beautifying the building essentially. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else present to speak on behalf of this item? Is there anyone that would like to speak in opposition to this item?
Hey y'all, my name is Sterling Hill. I'm at 3305 Castle, which is on the backside of this proposed property. And I'm coming to ask for a pause and further discussion about this. We actually met last night in the neighborhood, and I'm coming on behalf of my adjacent 7 neighbors to ask for a pause and further discussion. This has been residential for a long time. It has a potential to impact our properties, our property lines, and not so much in opposition ultimately, but we'd really like some more time to discuss it and not push it through to talk to Josh and understand what's going to happen and what their use is going to be. So I'm coming on behalf of my 7 other neighbors to ask for a delay, a pause, if possible.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to speak in opposition to this item? Would the applicant or his or her representative like to make a rebuttal?
Yes, so it was brought to our attention within the last week or so that the neighborhood would like to purchase some of the land. We're willing to work with them, but we're not going to be handicapped until we get the rezoning done. So that is in the works. We will figure a solution out there, but we don't want to remove any of the land from the purchase as of this moment. Thank you.
Josh, I have a quick question. If we do postpone it, does that present an undue burden to you? Like, are you contractually obligated to move within a certain period of time, or?
Yeah, so currently we have the property under contract. We only have about 20 days of feasibility left, which we can get a minor extension, but yeah, pausing this would delay the property and we might not end up buying it.
Question, in terms of the neighbors, what type of pause were you suggesting or requesting? Length? Sure.
We can stay on there again. I honestly don't know what's typical or what is available. I mean, I think it'd be reasonable if you're in a bind on buying it or in a feasibility. Even if we had a couple of weeks to further discuss it, I don't know when you guys meet again. We're not asking for months here. We don't want to drag it out either. We just like the opportunity to discuss it a little more. So I don't know what's available, but yeah, definitely won't want to drag it out either. So.
Question for Josh. Josh, is y'all's contract contingent upon the zoning change?
It is, yes, sir.
Okay.
Essentially, we're just trying to use it for office. The current zoning of R1 does not support office. We just want to use it for what has been used for the last 70 years. Nothing new, nothing different, same thing.
Are there any other questions from the commissioners? Okay, thank you all. Close the public hearing and entertain a motion.
Motion to postpone till next meeting? Am I saying that right? Is that a proper motion?
Continuance to the next,
Yes.
continue the public hearing to the
Yeah.
next Plan Commission meeting.
Yeah.
we have a second? Hearing none, we will still entertain motions.
I'll make a motion to approve this request based on staff findings.
Do we have a second? Okay, hearing none.
Gotta do
We'll
something.
continue entertaining motions, but I don't know which other options we have outside of the,
Maybe we just discuss for
Yeah,
a
we'll-
second then kind of where thought process is at. For me, I definitely understand both sides, which is why I'm a little torn. That being said, I think I'm leaning more towards approving the rezone. I mean, the property's been used as office for, how, I think Josh said 70 years, something like that. So I don't see what changes for the neighborhood other than, I mean, again, practically speaking, it's gonna be used for what it's already being used for. And if the contract is contingent upon that zoning change, I'm hesitant to do something that would, again, if it's not changing the practical use of the property to interfere with the sale. That being said, it seems like both sides are willing to talk to each other. I don't know what, deal may be able to be worked out. But that's kind of where my thought process is right now, but I would like to hear someone else's thoughts on it. We didn't really have the opposition during our business session, so we haven't gotten a chance to talk through it really.
I think we have a comment from city staff.
Yeah, I would just remind, this will be a recommendation to the council, and there is 3 weeks between this meeting and the city council public hearing. So I think there's time for the applicant and the neighborhood group to get together during those 3 weeks. Let it go forward to council, but having that time, those 3 weeks, I think they can meet and hopefully work out any differences they had during those 3 weeks.
That's an important note. Thanks, Clint. Yeah.
And I
I
agree
think
with
that
that.
kind of solidifies it for me. I think I'm good passing on to council and seeing if the two sides can work something out in the 3 weeks before the next council meeting, so.
I agree with that as well.
Okay, well then I'll make a motion, and I'll move that we approve based on staff findings.
And a second.
Motion by Mr. Smith, a second by Mr. Ramos. Please poll the commission.
Allen? Embry? Yes. Ingram?
Yes.
Lozano?
Yes.
Ramos?
Yes.
Yes.
Cole?
Yes. Z-24-13, what is city staff's recommendation?
Excuse me. Mr. Chair, members of the commission, this is a public hearing on a request by Benjamin Stevens, 20.178 acres, described as Lot A1, Block 1, Smithson Edition, known as 2921 West Lakeshore Drive, to amend the land use plan from suburban residential and open space to mixed-use flex and to rezone the property from R1B to C2 Community Commercial District. Planning Services mailed out 13 notices and has 0 returned. Planning Services recommends approval of this request to change land use designation from suburban residential and open space to mixed-use flex based on the following findings. Number 1, the public infrastructure is adequate to provide for zoning districts allowed in the proposed mixed-use flex land use designation. Number 2, mixed-use flex designation is consistent with the surrounding land uses. Planning Services recommends approval of the request to change the zoning from R1B to C2 zoning based on the following findings. 1, the proposed zoning is in keeping with the land use component of the comprehensive plan as revised. Number 2, the public infrastructure is adequate to provide for uses allowed in the C2 zoning district. 3, the property meets all the area and width requirements for the C2 zoning district. 4, there is C2 zoning adjacent to the subject property and is the dominant zoning along Lakeshore Drive between Stewart Drive and North 19th Street. And 5, the proposed C2 zoning is compatible with the surrounding area of multifamily, commercial, and public institutional uses. The above findings are required for the, that's it.
Thank you. Is the applicant or his or her representative here to speak on behalf of this item?
All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Matthew Stevens. I'm representing my family in our partnership, which includes my mother, Kim Stevens, my siblings, Benjamin, Nicholas, my little sister, Elizabeth, as well. We are asking the Plan Commission to consider the zoning change from R1B to C2. We are planning a wedding and event venue on the grounds. The majority of the acreage is a pecan orchard. It's a very peaceful setting, and it's approximately 70 years old. Our intent is to keep as many of the trees as possible as a park-like setting and natural environment. And this area, we've been around and on. My mother moved there in January 2019. We've enjoyed many of life's wonderful moments there. That's where I proposed my wife, all that kinds of fun stuff. Graduation parties for my siblings and I. And so it's been a wonderful part of our life. We'd like to share it with the rest of Waco and beyond. So that is our plan. Thank you for our time.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to speak on behalf of this item? Is there anyone that would like to speak in opposition to this item? Hearing none, we will close the public hearing and entertain a motion.
Yeah, I'd like the motion, we recommend approval.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Ramos, second by Mr. Embry. Please poll the commission.
Yay. Embry?
Yes.
Ingram?
Yes.
Lane? Yes. Lozano?
Yes.
Ramos?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Item Z-24-14, what is city staff's recommendation?
Mr. Chair, members of the commission, this is a public hearing on a request from Adrian Lara, Jeff and Georgia Crowhurst, and the city of Waco to rezone from R2 zoning to O3 zoning, lots 9, 10, 12, and 14, Block 4, Proctor Springs Edition, known as 2016, 2014, 2010, and 2004 North 4th Street, respectively. Planning Services mailed out 22 notices and had 1 returned in opposition. Planning Services recommends approval of this request to change the zoning from R2 zoning to O3 zoning based on the following findings. 1, the proposed zoning is in keeping with the land use component of the comprehensive plan and the Imagine Waco, a plan for greater downtown. 2, the public infrastructure is adequate to provide for uses allowed in the O3 zoning district. 3, the properties meet all the area and width requirements for the O3 zoning district. And number 4, there is O3 zoning in adjacent blocks along North 4th Street.
Thank you. Is the applicant or his or her representative here to speak on behalf of this item?
Thank you. I'm Adrian Lara, and I'm 2010 North 4th Street, Waco, Texas 76708. And I represent myself, my wife, and the Crowhurst, who also own a couple of properties on the same block. And our request really is at the heart of any homeowner's intent to use their property in a way that benefits their family. It would give us the flexibility to continue doing what the Crowhursts are doing with their homes, but also use it for, like, I'm a musician, so I would like to keep the option to have a little studio to give lessons to different ones here in the area. Secondly, my wife and I, we do a lot of missionary work, and this would give us a chance to use that to kind of fund some of our trips. Secondly, I mean, we're looking at the neighborhood. It's changing. It's no longer the traditional families that live there. It's being used, as you can see, on the zone map for the same kind of zoning that we're requesting. So what we're asking is just in line with what's already happening.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to speak on behalf of this item? Is there anyone that would like to speak in opposition to this item? Hearing none, we'll close the public hearing and entertain a motion.
Move to recommend approval based on staff findings.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Embry, a second by Mr. Lane. Please poll the commission.
Allen? Yay. Embry?
Yes.
Ingram?
Yes.
Lane?
Yes.
Lozano?
Yes.
Ramos?
Yes.
Smith?
Yes.
Cole?
Yes. For item Z-24-15, what is city staff's recommendation?
Mr. Chair, members of the commission, this is a public hearing on a request from Colton Kyle of Housing Solutions Alliance on behalf of Waco Housing Authority to rezone from R1B and R3E zoning to R3C zoning, property described as 38.69 acre tract of land situated in the Tomas de la Vega survey, abstract number 43, McLennan County, Texas, and being all of Estella Maxey Place Annex, in addition to the city of in addition to the City of Waco, recorded in volume 966, page 669, deed records of McLennan County, Texas, and being the remainder of the called 25.47 acre tract of land described in a deed to Housing Authority of the City of Waco, recorded in volume 809, page 392, deed records of McLennan County, Texas, known as 1809 J.J. Flowland Road. Planning Services mailed out 29 notices and had 0 returned. Planning Services recommends approval of this request to change the zoning from R2 zoning and sorry, that's not correct. Hold on. Sorry about that. From R1B and R3E zoning to R3C zoning, based on the following findings. The proposed zoning is in conformance with the land use component of the comprehensive plan. Property meets all the area and width requirements for the R3C zoning district. The existing public infrastructure is adequate to provide for all uses allowed in the R3C zoning district, and the proposed zoning is more compatible with the existing Estella Maxi complex on the property and potential redevelopment plans for the complex.
Thank you. Is there anyone here that would like to speak on behalf of this item?
Good afternoon. Colton Kyle was not able to make it. I'm with SGB Architects. We're the architect for the project. Appreciate the staff's assistance with cleaning up the zoning on this. They were extremely easy and very helpful to work with, so I appreciate it very much and appreciate your time this evening. I'm here to answer any questions if you have any.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else that would like to speak on behalf of this item? Anyone here that would like to speak in opposition to this item? Okay, hearing none, I will entertain a motion on the rezoning.
Yeah, I'd like to motion to recommend approval from R1B and R3E to R3C.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Ramos, a second by Mr. Smith. Please poll the commission.
Yay.
Bree?
Yes.
Ingram?
Yes.
Lane?
Yes.
Lozano?
Yes.
Ramos?
Yes.
Smith?
Yes. Cole?
Yes. City staff, do you have more to read in on the abandonment
Yes,
for this item?
Yes, I'll have to move to abandonment 24-3 for different legal descriptions. Bear with me. Mr. Chair, members of the commission, this is a public... Yes.
I just want to make it clear for everyone that abandonment ABD 24-2 has been withdrawn from the agenda tonight.
Okay, thank you.
Perfect, thank you.
Okay. So ABD 23, ABD 24-3. Mr. Chair, members of the commission, this is a public hearing on a request from George Meza of Quintero Engineering on behalf of the Waco Housing Authority. 8.29 acres of multiple street right-of-way abandonments, including portions of Adams Street, Abbott Street, Bennett Street, Cantrell Street, Calumet Avenue, and Delano Street, located within the property addressed as 1809 J.J. Flowland Road, and further described as a 2.87 acre tract of land located in and being a part of the Tomas de la Vega Survey, abstract number 43, McLennan County, Texas, being the public right-of-way known as Adams Street, a portion of Abbott Street, and a portion of Bennett Street in the Estella Maxi Place Annex, recorded in volume 966, page 699, deed records of McLennan County, Texas. And B, 1, a 0.34 acre tract of land being the public right-of-way known as Abbott Street. 2, a 0.34 acre tract of land being the public right-of-way known as Bennett Street. 3, a 0.34 acre tract of land being the public right-of-way known as Cantrell Street. 4, a 2.15 acre tract of land being the public right-of-way known as Calumet Avenue. And 5, a 2.25 acre tract of land being the public right-of-way known as Delano Street, being in and being a part of the Tomas de la Vega Survey, abstract number 43, McLennan County, Texas, described in a deed to the City of Waco, recorded in volume 868, page 363, deed records of McLennan County, Texas. Planning Services mailed out 29 notices and had 0 comments returned. Planning Services recommends approval of the abandonment request based on the following findings and conditions. Findings. Number one, the existing streets that are proposed to be abandoned currently only serve the development within the private property. Two, the street infrastructure is already in place and once abandoned will be privately maintained. Three, utility access for surrounding properties is not adversely impacted by the abandonment of this right-of-way, of these right-of-ways. And four, there will be no adverse impact to the surrounding street system. And we recommend the following conditions. Number one, 20-foot water line easement shall be retained for all water lines or lines can be relocated at developer's expense. Two, emergency access shall be maintained throughout the property. Fire lanes will be required at the time of development plan approval. Number three, utility easements shall be retained for AT&T as noted in their comments. And four, encore easement for existing pole and lines for streetlights and guard lights shall be provided unless the city and customer request them to be removed.
Thank you. Is the applicant or his or her representative here to speak on behalf of this item?
Good evening, George Mesa with Quintero Engineering out of Killeen, Texas. Here to answer any questions you guys may have. All of the conditions that staff has proposed, we are actually working through with the development of the entire site. So we're more than happy to provide all that to the city of Waco and to all the private utility companies.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to speak on behalf of this item? Is there anyone present that would like to speak in opposition to this item? Okay, hearing none, we will close the public hearing and entertain a motion.
Move that we recommend approval with conditions based on staff findings.
And a second.
Motion by Mr. Smith and a second by Mr. Ramos. Please poll the commission.
Allen?
Yay.
Embry?
Yes.
Ingram?
Yes.
Lane?
Yes.
Lozano?
Yes.
Ramos?
Yes.
Smith?
Yes. Holt?
Yes. That is the last item on our agenda. Before we adjourn the Plan Commission, we want to recognize Mr. Jason Ramos for 6 years of service on the Plan Commission. This will be his last meeting, so we appreciate your commitment to the city of Waco. Any last comments?
Yeah, thank you. I've enjoyed it. Great team here to work with, serving our city, getting the opportunity to serve in this capacity, and it's just great things in this city. So, yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, and Plan Commission is now adjourned.